Hello, nobody. Today I want to basically discuss my first impressions or impressions of Back for Blood as it stands currently. This is about the open beta, mind you, just so you guys know. Um, but anyway, well, I'd like to start off by saying the game is really fun to play, and it's a very I it feels the movement feels a little weird coming like a little like sluggish, but it's probably something they can work out or you'll get used to. I got used to it. It felt a little like kind of choppy sometimes, but for the most part, it was all right. Now let's get into it. So first off, I'd like to start talking about some of the positives that I liked about the beta, which would be that the game, for the most part, is very team-oriented, kind of reminiscent of what do you call it, Left 4 Dead, considering same devs, obviously. So I do like that you have to at least somewhat stick with your team, and you can't have just one guy basically go Rambo it and end up clearing the whole way for you. Because if you end up doing that, you get surrounded and then very easily beat to death by the little common zombies. So, or ridden as they're called. But I like it. You have to kind of stick next to your team and help each other out, swap ammo and stuff like that. Another thing I also liked is the you never really got to get comfortable with the type of weapon you're using. That sounds like it could be a bad thing for some people because maybe they only want to use a certain gun or they prefer this type of weapon versus, like they prefer shotguns over SMGs or they prefer snipers over assault rifles, stuff like that. But I do like that it at least forces you to get comfortable with at least a few guns from every category so you're not just constantly swapping to, oh, I just want assault rifles. You guys see assault rifles? I only want those. Or I only like shotguns. I only want those. I like that it forces you to at least try a couple weapons because sometimes you'll run out of ammo for your gun type and you're forced to drop it unless you want to go through the whole mission with just your sidearm, which is possible, but not as not it's not super helpful. It'll get you there, but it won't carry you if you really need it. Apart from maybe like Mobbin or Shotgun, because that thing's like a monster at close range. Granted, not a one tap or anything, but still, it's a shotgun. Does pretty decent damage. One tap's common. Couple of them for the specials, so it's pretty good. Anyway, so yeah, I do like that aspect about the game. Forces you to get comfortable. And I guess at this point now, I'd like to talk about some things that I feel, for the most part, that the beta could either improve upon or fix in either later betas or when it gets released or during development. They want feedback, I'll give them feedback. So for me, I'll start with the card system. I I kind of like and dislike it as a system in this game, considering at the start it's kind of rough. You don't have anything. You have the starter card pack, but like you don't know how the thing like the system functions. I still don't know how it functions. It wasn't explained, but that's not really a problem. It was a beta. Um, and most of the cards feel like they have little to no impact on your gameplay for the most part. There are some exceptions, but like I said, they don't come in your starter pack. So really for the most part, there's you don't really feel the impact of all the cards you have, which might be their intention, but I feel like at least to me, I feel like the cards they're trying to have it like a perk system, kind of like in Call of Duty Zombies. You got like your quick revive, your double tap, your fast hands, your mule kick, stuff like that. Like they're uber powerful, but you have to wait to acquire them. But I guess that's not the case in this one. I guess they want it to be like minor buffs to help you along. But I feel for the most part, the minorness of these buffs don't really contribute too much. Like there's the vitamin one that gives you 15%, 15 extra health to your max total. So like if you have 100 and you put the card on, it becomes 115. That doesn't really help, at least in my eyes, considering 15 health isn't really much bonus health to save you from getting surrounded or specials. Like they really will just like eat through that 15 additional health like it's nothing. It almost makes the card basically useless. And that's what I get for the feel for most of the other cards. There are some that you can slightly feel the impact of, but like I said, it's nothing major. They're just kind of there to help. Like if I believe it was the reload drills card, but it adds 15% reload speed, like you reload 15% faster. On top, I assume it's an additive. So that one you can feel a bit, considering if you have like a really slow loading anything, which, like I said, like even with it without with it not on, because of how the card system works, I didn't know whether or not I had it on or off for the most part. Like there was never a time where I could noticeably tell that I had the reload card on. So at that point in time, it wasn't really. It goes back to my point that most cards don't have an impact for the most part. Like I said, there are a few exceptions, like one you unlock later for, I forget what tree it's called, but like the the movement tree, the one that's like focused around that. There's like the first card you get is a mobility card, and that one is very, very good because it gives you, I believe, 20% like shield stamina regen and like a bigger stamina bar overall, like a little bit, and extra health. So like it gives you a ton of survivability with a little bit of health. Obviously that 5 health doesn't really do anything, but it's just something to tacked on, I guess, to make it feel better. But cards like that like really had a noticeable impact because if you notice without any stamina increases or anything, you can't really run too far away from an enemy because if you run for too long, you get drained pretty fast, which I like and don't like. It's kind of up in the air, but you kind of need more movement cards to so that way you have more survivability, so it feels a little better. So going on about how the cards don't have an impact, I'm surprised there wasn't anything else that I can really remember. Because off the top of my head, I have one card that, if it was in the game, I feel like, I mean, I guess it goes to the point where they don't want to have cards that are must picks. Like, oh, you have to have this card in your deck no matter what. But a lot of the cards that they have, like I said before, are very minimal impact. Like one I just thought of that, at least to my knowledge, I don't know is in game, is what do you call it? Like this one I made up off the top of my head. So you call it whatever you want, but like there'd be a card, right? And what its abilities would be that it would give you continuous health regeneration up to maybe 20% of your maximum health, or whatever, like tweak it a bit, whatever, make it fair. Maybe not 1 health a second, maybe 2 a second, up to 20% of your max health, something like that. Because I feel like a card like that would help a bunch. And like I said, you can tweak that per 20% to either higher, lower, whatever, to make it balanced in their eyes. But cards like that give you little things that are noticeable and very useful would be amazing. Like how how each individual character has their own like passive thing, and then they have that team bonus that they apply. Like for Hoffman, I believe his personal passive is that the common ridden will have a chance to drop ammo when they are killed. I wish it was a bit better. Speaking of, when you kill a ridden, it'll just drop a random stack of ammo. So it could be shotgun, sniper, pistol, whatever, and it might not even be useful to you as an ammo type. So it seems kind of like weird that you don't even get like for sure ammo for at least the gun you're using. So as a fix for that, I would propose you have it where it drops 2 bundles of ammunition, one for the gun you're currently using. So like say if you kill it with an assault rifle, it drops rifle ammo. If you kill it with a shotgun, it drops shotgun ammo. On top of that, it drops an additional stack of ammo of a random chance. It could be pistol, shotgun, whatever. But at the very least, one stack of that ammo like thing that drops One of them is for the gun you're currently using, so his passive doesn't feel like it's just a gamble most of the time. And two, it still gives ammo to, whatever teammate may be using said weapon. And I'm not saying to increase like the amount of ammo that drops from those drops, because it's very minimal, but like getting a couple bullets here and there could just make things go over easier. And that makes another point. Communication, I'd like to see that improved. As it stands now, it's pretty good. Like you have your context wheel, sorry, and it works pretty good, almost upon like equivalent to Apex, where you can call out stuff you want to do, like "Are you ready?" or stuff like that. But I do wish that they allowed you to context ping in your inventory, because you know how when you hit tab, you can see your little pop-up menu, and you can see how much ammo you got of each type, your copper total, guns you're carrying, what attachments are on them. I would like if you could ping, like in Apex, like if you need ammunition for a certain gun, you can press tab, mouse over your weapon that you need ammo for, press the ping button, and your character will call out, "I'm low," or "I need rifle ammunition," or pistol ammunition, or shotgun ammunition. Because most of the time, if you're doing randoms, most of them don't have mics. And yes, there is a chat system, but to my knowledge, I didn't see anybody type at all. And I know it was during crossplay, but there were games where I got full lobbies of just PC people. But there'd be times where I would hear that people needed certain types of ammunition, or like their characters would call out, "Oh, I'm low on ammo," but most of the time they were usually away from me, and it was very hard to tell what kind of gun they were using, so I didn't know what to drop and maybe ping it for them. So if they could add a system like that where you can ping, what type of ammunition, maybe ping some more stuff in that slot, like in Apex, like yeah, because you can ping almost every slot in Apex, like body shield, helmet, backpack, stuff like that. Maybe add a whole ping system for inventory management as well, so you can like ping stuff that you may want or you need, just to help people that don't want to use their mics, allow them to communicate with their team without actually having to voice it themselves. And this brings us to the enemy design. I wish that the enemies looked different for the most part. I'm not talking about the common ridden, that's fine because they're common, they're supposed to look the same. There's thousands of them, I understand. What I'm talking about is the specials, and which would be, I think, the Bruiser and the Charger. Those two look almost the same, because they're literally just two dudes with big arms. And for the most part, in the chaos of battle while you're getting chased by potentially another special, may that be another Bruiser and a Charger, or just two Bruisers, it's nice to know where you stand with them, or where you can deal, or how you're going to deal with said threat. Because for the most part, every time I saw a Bruiser or a Charger, I would always mistake them for one or the other, or sometimes it would just be both the same guy and I thought they were both Bruisers. So like I'd mistake a Charger for a Bruiser for a Charger, and it's hard to correctly identify them because their only defining trait for the most part is big arm guy. And like I said, it's very hard to tell because I mean there's a slight difference between, I think, the Charger and the Bruiser, being the Charger has like some kind of like blob around his neck that shows you that like he's a Charger, but there needs to be a more definite sign for that. It's very hard to tell what I'm looking at when, one, you're getting surrounded, so you're maybe running away from current like a mob of zombies chasing you, and yeah, it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell when you're looking to see if whatever the specials on you, be that Bruiser or um, the Charger, is what type it is, because then you can employ a different strategy. For like a Charger, you want to get close to your team because it's probably going to grab you. Those things have never really missed, apart from like me getting really lucky. But Bruisers, for the most part, the only time they ever do damage is when they're close enough to actually pound the ground next to you. So that's the only time when they're when they're a threat. So depending on what it is, I can employ a different strategy. Same for the Charger and the Belcher, uh, or Wretch or whatever they're called. But there's one that runs at you and suicides, and like you know your goal is to shoot it before it gets to you, and then there's one that just throws up on you from afar and hits you with like an acid throw up. I honestly they don't they look almost not at all different. Like they're very hard to tell apart too. The only one that was easy is maybe the the Stinger, I believe it was called, but the one that hops around and like grabs on walls and then spits at you. That one is easy because it's just a skinny dude with like a red. I mean, it's the only one that climbs up and hangs on walls, so it's it's different. And then you also have like the screech, no, the tattle something where it tells on you. I'm probably really close, and if you guys are listening to me, comment the name down below. But Snitch, that's what he's called. But yeah, the Snitch, he's different. He's well, essentially the witch equivalent to this game. But for the most part, he was easy to tell because he would just kind of stand somewhere and make these sounds that let you know he was around. But yeah, for the most part, Bruiser, Charger, I don't know what the Suicider guy's called, and the Wretch. Those look all the same. Or not all four of them, but you know what I mean. Bruiser, Charger look very similar. Wretch, the Suicider look very similar, so it's hard to employ strategies to defeat them. I will say too, maybe it's part of design or something, but at least the guys that spit the throw up at you, it's really hard to dodge that. And for the most part, if you see one, it's almost gonna hit you for sure. There's really no way to dodge it because the moment it sees you, its throw up is basically hit scan, so it just connects with you almost no matter what. And for the most part, I would say my only nitpicks at the end of this all would be maybe just have the inventory screen be a bit more easier to read. And what I mean by that, maybe not the inventory screen, but the way attachments work. Because for the most part, it's hard to tell what magazine does what, and because depending on what you have, it actually changes your ammunition and what it does. Don't know if any of you guys knew that. Maybe you did. I don't know. But there were some guns that increased the likelihood of you stunning a target or stumbling them, I mean. Some that increased penetration, some that increased just raw DPS. So if there was a way to color code the magazines, depending on what they would do, like if it's a stumble mag, it's purple. If it's like a penetration mag, it's yellow. If it's like a DPS mag, it's red. Color code them so it's easier to tell at a glance what you're looking at. Because for the most part, picking up a magazine is always good. It's always beneficial for the most part, unless you're not doing something else correct. I don't know. But for the most part, picking up a magazine always is a benefit. Another thing I'd like to add before I leave you guys is give me the ability to swap sights from guns to guns, please. I don't like dropping my SCAR with a red dot, picking up a Uzi because I can't find any more rifle ammo, and being stuck with just the iron sights. Like, granted, some of the iron sights are good and easy to use, but come on, I got the sight, man. Just put it on, put it on the Uzi. It should be transferable. I don't know why it isn't. And like I said, I hate to go back to Apex, but just have it so any applicable attachments swap to the next gun you're swapping to. So please, I beg you. I want that to be a thing because like I said, I hate dropping my kitted out whatever gun and half of the stuff doesn't transfer. Now I understand if you don't want a sniper scope on your SMG, and that's completely fine. But give me the option to essentially, like in Apex, mouse over to the attachment slot, put it on a different gun, or drop it altogether and have it be by itself. Because as it stands now, if I pick it up, put it on my gun, it's stuck there because I glued it on apparently, and it does not want to come off. Anyway, that's all the thoughts I have to say about the Back 4 Blood beta, open beta. And I thank you for watching and listening to my opinion. Have a nice day, and this is where I leave you. Goodbye.